Hi, welcome to the So You're a Single Parent Now What podcast. My name is Crystal. I am your host, also known as the Six Figure Single Mom. So I am the CEO and founder of the Six Figure Single Mom Company, where I am helping single parents take control of their careers and their financing through career coaching and strategizing. So the Six Figure Single Mom brand is less about the money and more about your mindset shift, right? Once you shift your mindset, then the money automatically comes. Now, don't get it twisted. The money's not going to fall from the sky. You're going to have to do a little work behind it. You're going to have to obtain, the experience that you need, your expertise, but your mindset shift will help you along the way for sure. So basically, in a nutshell, I teach single parents how to boss up. So I teach them how to go from a defeated mindset to a winning and unstoppable mindset. And I love what I do because I teach them basically how to know their worth, how to know that they have something to bring to the table. So we leverage their skill sets so that they can advance in their careers. I teach them how to negotiate, how to get that confidence back whenever they walk into a room. I teach them all things lifestyle, career, and single parenting. So this podcast is basically just allowing me the freedom to have a single parent community where it's a safe place, where someone gets it, and a place where we're not being judged, where we can be heard and we can be given all things resources, lifestyle, career, and single parenting. So guys, tonight, this episode is being sponsored by Ink to the Tea Company. Now, Ink to the Tea Company, they can do amazing things with t-shirts. So that is a t-shirt custom design company. They custom design all t-shirts, all sizes, and all of their items are made with love and also creativity. So Ink to the Tea, they hooked your girl up tonight. So they are branding all of my polo shirts because you know what? I kind of get tired of dressing up sometimes and I just want to look a little regular. So they have branded some of my logos, my t-shirts with my logos. And I love that because it allows me to kind of dress down a little bit. We all need to dress down a little bit. So their Instagram is inked_2_the_T company, right? Inked_2_the_T. So I want to thank again Ink to the T for sponsoring this episode. Guys, tonight, so I mentioned in last week's video that I really would like to end the year with a financial series. I just feel like money management and learning about financial wealth is so important. But towards the end of the year, we kind of start spending a lot of money, right? So I would like to end the year with a financial series. So tonight we have a special guest and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. I met her and I was like, oh my gosh, I have got to get you on my podcast because what she's doing is so great. And that is introducing money management to children. And just dominating that space. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. So welcome tonight. Introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. My name is Nakala. I do many things with the kids. It's very important that we raise our next generation. And a lot of times we forget that it's our responsibility. So the best way to do it is to do it right and just start them young. So I do many things in the community, host workshops, financial literacy workshops within HISD, Spring ISD, in Atlanta, in the States, outside the States. We've been to Belize with it. We've got to get the ability to have our books in many people's hands to just help spread the mission of generating generational wealth. And, once we pass, we have to trust that we left something behind for the next generation. So that's pretty much why I'm here. I'm so glad to be here. I'm excited to share everything that I know, ways to encourage your kid to get pretty much literate with financial because, we all have to do it at some point. It's inevitable. It's unavoidable. We have to learn many things about finance. So that's me, Nakala. You can find the book at www.learningabcs.org or abc.financialliteracy on Instagram.
So amazing, Nakala. Thank you for joining me tonight. I think what you're doing is amazing.
Thank you.
A lot of times I feel like we don't get financial wealth management introduced to us
Right.
until something catastrophic financially comes. And it's
Yes.
like, oh, well, you know, my parents filed bankruptcy and that's how I learned about money.
Right.
Or, you know, someone misused a credit card or something like that, or someone lost a house or a car.
Right.
And that's kind of how you see and start to learn about money management.
Yes.
So at what age did you learn about money management?
So honestly, it kind of happened to me that way.
Okay.
So,
I didn't even know that.
Yes,
So-
it actually happened to me that way. So I wasn't introduced to it, which is why I see it's such a gap of not being introduced to it, and then you don't find out until when you're in a tough spot.
Sure.
So I've been, of course, we always am familiar with money, but actually money management and financial skills, that was not introduced until after I made a mistake.
Oh, I see.
So,
Okay.
like the thing with credit, you know we have credit, we learn about credit, we hear of credit, but do we know in detail of what good credit and bad credit can get us versus what it cannot?
Mhm.
So, I kind of had started to, it was kind of like you getting out the house, you're going into college, you know, you need somewhere to stay, then you got to get a car, you know, you're going to need a certain amount of credit if you want, you know, X amount of deposit on the car. So I kind of had to figure out, the actual steps of good financial literacy. Like I had to figure it out by making my mistakes first.
Okay, so how did you find out? Is this something that you researched online?
I started to research.
Okay.
Correct. I started to research, and then I just got into it in depth, mainly because I'm in business.
Okay.
So when you're in business, there's a lot that come with different business taxes, sales taxes. You have to file certain paperwork. It's certain stuff you have to be up to date on. So it's hard to manage a business if you're not financially literate.
Facts.
So it started really with my business, with my fashion design business. So I got into it. I'm like, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur. I got the drive. But then when I started to understand the other side of business, it's not just about the drive and dedication. It's actually a business side of business.
That's right.
And that come with a lot of knowing paperwork, taxes, laws. You have to have different accountants. You have to have certain stuff handled. So to run my business fluently, I have to get fluent with finance.
I love that because when I started my business, I legitimized everything first. You know, instead of like putting it on social media, like, oh my gosh, I got a business. And, you know, I feel like sometimes people do it backwards.
Correct.
You know, like you said, you need an accountant that you can run yourself by. I had my accountant to file my LLC because she did all that. But, you know, you just need certain things in place whenever you're doing business. And like they say, when you're in Rome, you got to do what Romans do.
Right.
So in business, you got to do what the business calls for.
Correct.
So I love the point that you made there. So at what age would you say you
I would
you
say
got
I
it?
was like, I started to get it like around, it was probably between 18 and 20.
Okay.
That's when I started to really get it. And by the age of 20, I had my first child. So I made it my responsibility because now I'm responsible for more. So it's like, okay, let's buckle down on what I need to know and not what I want to know.
Yeah.
Especially if I want to pursue entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not easy. It'll never be easy. And then to make it easier on me, I start to learn. That's about the best way I could have done it, by learning.
Yeah.
So not just making stuff, not trying to believe it what I think it is, just all fruits and dates. No, I start to learn the back office of stuff, paperwork. I start to learn different grants. I start to learn the process of how other businesses are already ran.
Right.
And then I start to take into account, okay, if I wanted to get serious, I have to run my business like fully multi-million-dollar business. And that's how you get there. So I say between 18 and 20 is when I start to like, okay, let me start learning.
Which is really young.
Let me
That's
learn.
Great. That's really great. No, I think that it's a great thing because I also had my daughter at 20.
Okay.
Well, I had her at 21. I got pregnant at 20.
Okay.
So, I mean, like you said, you got to rise to the occasion. Yeah. And it's like, you know, every single day.
Right.
You're trying to figure out how can you advance? How can you do more? How can you make more? How can you pull more out of yourself so that your child has something and so that you have a legacy to leave? So that's very important that you got it so young.
Yes. I'm not going to say I had no choice. Everybody have choices in life, but I chose to make the smartest decision. What I felt at that moment that I could comprehend at 20 to be the smartest decision. So I felt to just, okay, if I want to, and the company I actually started is actually my daughter's name. I started this for her.
Wow.
Because I have my own separate company in design, but this is actually for her because I read a statistic that said it take about 5 years to get a business fully operational. You understand the ups and downs, you know, your peak seasons, your low seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of can iron it out within 5 years of business. So I took it as, okay, 5 years is 5 years no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter how you want to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to get to 5. It's the same way to get to 5 every time. So why would I wait 18 years or 17 years until my child is graduated to say, hey, let me start your business? That's 17 years. I could have done 5 years 3 times.
That's a long time.
That's
a long time.
So I started her early, and she goes to the convention. She tell books like, hey, I have a financial literacy book. Like the more I get her familiar with what it takes and what it really is to understand business and finance, it's like natural to her. You know, she love meeting people, so she like, I don't mind coming, but then I also like prep her, like, what do you have? You know, let people know what you have. And she be like, my financial literacy book, and she don't know, she's 5, so I'm grooming her. Of course, she's not like CEO status, like coming in and ready,
CEO
but we are grooming CEO in the making, correct? So I just start reading statistics, and I'm like, you know what? I'm finna just understand the facts. If you say 5 years, then that means I have 5 years to make something happen. So I'm gonna progress each year because I'm taking this first year initiative, second year initiative, third, fourth, and fifth. You know, and that's what kind of just pushed me to, okay, let me just start understanding the facts of things. Let me start looking at the analytics. Let me start looking at what it
I'm glad
really
you said that. How important are analytitive? I know you said in business you have your peak seasons, you have your highs, your lows, your you have your marketing.
Correct.
Marketing is
that's what's gonna get you to where you need to go.
Marketing is so expensive.
It is.
It's so expensive.
It is.
You know, like you said, you have to be responsible because you have to pay your taxes and everything during tax
and then
season.
you have to pay for so many subscriptions just to keep your business up and running. You have to pay for your domain. You have to pay for people to check out. You got to pay for that. We got to pay for everything.
And I always encourage people to, like, when it comes to stuff like that, I'll try to pay it for the year because when you pay it for the year, it's cheaper. Like Zoom, you know, like all that stuff. I have like a digital, physical address, like all that stuff costs money. But if you pay for it like annually, then, or, you know, twice, you can pay for like 2 years or 1 year, then you can get a better price or a better deal on stuff. I be trying to teach people to hatch because listen, it's hard out here when you're trying to keep all these expenses going. Like I said, marketing is one of the big ones. And
that's also another thing, is understanding that it's going to cost money no matter what. A lot of people will try to sell you the dream of like, hey, you can start anything with $1 and a dream. And that's honest. But to keep it going, you're going to need some more dollars and some more dreams. So the best thing to do is understand that when you start to progress in business, try not to use only your money. There's plenty of business grants. It's plenty of opportunities. I applied to one that Sylvester Turner, the mayor, he released like a $10K to $60K grant for small business owners and nonprofit businesses. And I'm literally still in like the process. They're in screening right now. I checked on the way over here. I'm like, let me check on my grant. But it's many ways to like expand your business. You have angel investors. There's many ways out there. So once you see yourself expanding, because you want to get that marketing, you want to have your marketing material. It's a lot that comes with it. Start searching for other people money to use, especially if you're in business. You can use it, and it's out there.
And I encourage people too, because some people will give you the advice, go to banks and get business credit. And I think getting business credit is good, but I think like some of the stuff that you're talking about is good as well, because sometimes people think in order to get grants, you got to have a nonprofit. That's one of the ways that you can have
but they
that.
Listen, I don't have a nonprofit yet, but I have 2 LLCs and then one company that was a DBA. And my DBA was kind of like the start of like, let me just see what I can do. But then my tax preparer, she's like, well, you need an LLC. So I filed an LLC with her. I had her file an LLC for me. And she just give me different, like, hey, well, you need to make such and such an S corp, and then I'm like, okay, well, let me go research what an S corp and how it can benefit. And then I had another person. I meet a lot of wise older people because I'm 26, so a lot of people who like oversee a lot of stuff I do, they be wise, they already experienced, they be like, they have like a solid foundation to be able to share stuff with me. And it's just different stuff I come across, and I'm like, you know what? Let me go research the facts of it. Because it's gonna be plenty of people. Right now, we're in an age of like so many like social media influencers, or where they like come to my seminar and it's $500 and we're gonna talk about something, but you can get talked a lot. If you don't do the research for yourself, it's not gonna stick.
You have to I feel like in business also, you have to put a cap on educational material.
Correct.
Because there's always something.
Correct.
Like you said, it's always something. It's always a workshop.
Yeah.
It's always a seminar. It's always, and that's kind of the struggle sometimes with me in business, and that's the reason why I started this platform, is because I'm like, we can give this information out just off the strength of wanting to help people.
Right.
Instead of always be out for the money grab. And I'm not saying that all of it is for the money grab.
Right.
Some of it does make you better.
Right.
But I started putting a cap on my educational expenses because I'm a nerd. So I was like, okay, Crystal, you can have X amount of dollars every quarter or every year for educational expense. Somebody hit me up the other day and I was like, I met my cap for educational expenses this year, but I will follow back up with you next year.
Right.
And it was the truth.
Right.
Because like you said, it's always something.
That's a great way. That's money management right there. That's money management tip right there. You have to put a cap on certain things that you want to do and pursue, because once you reach it, just go ahead and let yourself know, okay, I've reached that limit.
That's it.
I've reached that limit. This is how I set myself up. And now that I reached that limit, I cannot go over it. And it's discipline.
I think, and I love what you do. That's why I say when I met you, I'm like, I got to get you on a pod, because with social media too, I feel like let's get off the computer and let's actually touch people.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how you said, I go to schools and teach people about this. Oh, I go to other countries and teach people about this. Like we got to get from like the Twitter fingers. It's okay, and I'm not judging people for that. But I just feel like this kind of stuff is what truly helps the community.
Yes.
So when did you start your financial literacy company?
So I started in, I want to say it was 20. Let's see. I think I've had an LLC for this one for, I want to say 3 years now. Okay. I wrote the book. It took me about a year to actually get from writing books, because I actually have a tablet where I wrote a couple of books.
Okay.
So I wrote a couple of books with just what I wanted to do, like kids' financial literacy, some way to grab their attention, little stories. And it took me about a year to actually get a hard copy. So this book is actually on its 1 year. I want to say it's on its 1 year mark in November.
That's great.
That's what I want to. November will be the 1 year mark of actually being a hard copy.
Okay.
But I've been in the process of reaching out. I did my year doing just paperwork and trying to get my ideas together. Then I worked in a community where I was just getting interaction with the community. It's still before the book. I'm just interacting with the community because this is naturally what I want to do. I'm going to different events where kids have pop-up shops. Young business owners. I'm getting a feel of what is in the community. What are our kids out here doing? What are they learning? How are they
market analysis?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I did my market analysis, and then I actually just released the book. So I think November will be 1 year of it being released, which I'm proud to say within that 1 year, it's like I'm almost overwhelmed by how well it's doing, although I planned for nothing but greatness. Okay, so yes, really I went out there and I did my market analysis to actually see what the kids are doing in the community. It's so many kids who are brilliant. I'm gonna be honest, brilliant. I went out to that event and I seen so many kids out there they were selling body butter. I seen one girl capitalize on Croc charms because it was so popular for people to get charms on their Crocs. So she capitalized on that. I'm just like, y'all are truly brilliant. So yes, it is important to sit here and promote and teach y'all the best way to be who y'all already are, clearly, as you grow up and prepare yourself for the next generation to be wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. I'm proud that after almost a year that it has touched so many different people, and it gets me every time. It's kind of overwhelming, but it's like, yeah, I did set it up to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I see like what greatness requires, the amount of energy, love, respect, support, and then you be around, you learn more.
Yeah.
Like, you learn so much more when you're doing something that you're supposed to be doing. And this is true. Like, this is a true mission far beyond that I thought was far beyond me, basically. Like, I'm just a vessel here delivering something that's way beyond me. And it takes many people to do it. And so I'll be like so appreciative every time I'm somewhere new. Someone's like, yeah, I'm gonna promote. And I went to Atlanta. We went to Atlanta like 2-3 weeks ago for a food and finance event. We just went out there, food and finance, thinking, okay, we're gonna eat some vegan food. It was like real natural. And then we're gonna learn about finances. I end up getting interviewed the next day, and I end up buying 100 books, and they actually gonna distribute it to schools out there in Atlanta. So I'll be back in Atlanta by next month. So I'm just like, wow, you know, like placing yourself in the right place, really doing work, doing stuff that you're supposed to be doing, and just being focused, being true.
Finding your purpose.
Yes.
It sounds like you operate in your purpose. And that's why I say it's so people don't understand the severity of getting from behind the computer and actually doing the work.
Yes, actually like get out there.
We can't capture everybody on social media. We
Correct.
Gotta get out and touch the hands of the people, because people will invest in stuff like this.
Yes.
But how do they even know unless and like you said, you were doing personal and professional development.
Correct. And I've actually came across more success from in person than social media. And I'm 100% honest. Like, I've sold more from in person. I've sold many book orders from in person versus social media. Because social media, a lot of people like to see what you're doing.
Yes.
You're going to have a wider audience of people seeing what you're doing versus people who are actually your market. So actually,
they want that social proof.
Yeah, they want the social proof.
Want the social proof.
When you want to get to your market, go out and study your market. Analyze your market. You know, be a part of your market and get out there. Listen, it's just like, I'm a people person. Yeah. I suck at being on social media. Like, I'm on social media. I suck at keeping up. I suck at posting. But my strength is where it's supposed to be. And that's me in person and really explaining like what I'm supposed to explain when I'm supposed to explain it. That's my strength. I'm not the best at the tech.
You know what's so chilling to me? Like, I got goosebumps right now a little bit because I was just talking to someone that I met over the weekend. I went to an event. It was the Pink Champagne Retreat. Shout out to Helena. She is my personal branding coach. And so I met a lady from New York. I met a lady from Atlanta. And I was like, man, I got to make my way to David Shan's studio. Like, I got to make my way to one of his masterminds. Right. Because I podcast and this is what I do. And so, like you said, I want to get better at my craft. And so she was like, man, I was just at his new studio. It's dope. You got to come. And I was just like getting so excited because I was like, exactly what you said. You have got to learn your craft. You got to perfect your craft. You got to invest in your craft. Now, don't invest in, because everybody got a workshop. Everybody got a seminar. Everybody got a mastermind and a mentorship.
They gonna have program. It's gonna be there.
But I think you just find the one that speaks to you. And then you proceed with that one. But see, like stuff like this, it translates well because kids need to know. My daughter is 15. She's a sophomore. And she's in a money management class right now.
And that's great.
And I'm not even going to lie. When she got her schedule, she was like, ugh.
Yeah.
They put me in a money management
Y'all put
class.
Me in PE.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to be in this. This is supposed to be an elective. I'm supposed to be having fun. And then after like the first week or two,
start to see.
Honestly, she was like, Mom, I'm so
pumped.
glad. Like she was like, I'm so glad that you put me in this class.
Yeah.
Because I'm really enjoying it. So she's in entrepreneurship and she's in money management. Because my daughter told you quickly, I ain't working for nobody. And I'm like, as long as you're productive.
Make it happen.
The sky is the limit. And even when you get there, push past that. So I just think it's so important, like you said, to invest in your craft, to know your craft, and to just make sure that whatever lane you choose to be in, that you're serious about it.
Right.
You know, and that you're doing that you don't do your customers and clients a disservice by not doing that.
Right.
Because the company is only as strong as the CEO.
Correct.
And how you run your business, it trickles down. It's a trickle effect.
Yeah.
So that's great. So tell us a little bit about your book. You have 2 books here. So we're gonna do, this is part 1. We're gonna do part 2 next week. So tell us about one of your books.
So I have a coloring book and then I have a reading book.
Okay.
Because I do want to touch my younger audience. Like I said, it can become a subconscious thing, getting them familiar with A for asset, B for bank, C for compounding, D for deed. And that's pretty much what my books are about. It's to kind of become like, you have to learn the alphabet. Everybody have to learn the ABCs.
Sure.
And even before you're able to read, as I was creating the book, I was learning because I had to find financial terminology from A to Z.
From A to Z. I was just thinking that in my head. I'm like, wow, what's you find for Z?
Well, X is xenocuracy, Z is zoning, and zoning has to do with like that's more so in real estate when they zone, like you can't have a gas station too close to the house. So that's what. So I had to learn.
You have to be strategic.
Correct.
With how you
So it's not just about like, oh, it's a book for kids. Yeah, I read to my daughter. She's learning how to read right now, but until then, I have to read to her. So parents have picked this up and they're like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, I like this. You know, like I'm learning too. So it's really like for the whole generation to understand. Like it's a kid's book, but it doesn't cap off at the kid. Because like I say, I learned as I was making a kid's book. So adults can learn too.
That's so great.
And then the coloring book, it teaches like whenever the kids are practicing writing, I have like trace the letter and you'll trace like the whole word of the asset. And then you'll draw a picture that's dealing with an asset. And then my reading book, it have like little rhymes. I have a cool little song at the back for the kids. I love to sing. You know, I sing it with the kids just to kind of pump them up. Like, yeah, I'm gonna have me some YouTube songs coming out soon. Because,
okay.
You know, just trying to make it, even I'm working on the app because like I said, I study the market. And I'm true about actually reaching the kids. So I see that the devices, they're on the devices. Everyone have an iPhone or some sort of phone. Kids have phone in elementary now. Kids nearly have cars in elementary.
Listen, these kids know how to work. I'm telling you, I be in public and I see kids swiping and swiping up and down and back and forth. And I'm like, wow. I mean, these kids are so smart. My nephew's 5.
Yes.
He was standing in front of his game. I'm like, what you doing? He like, I'm playing the game, ain't he? I'm playing the game. And I'm like, it's shocking because he's 5.
Yeah, and my 5-year-old came home with a computer. I'm like, hold on. I ain't get a computer till I was in high school. They did not send us home with a computer till we was in high school. And y'all sending a kindergartner home with a laptop? I said, oh man, this is different. This is different.
It's so crazy. But I love it because the kids, you know how normally back in the day we'd be like gaga goo goo. I never did that with my daughter.
Right.
Because I just never did.
Right.
I'm a single mom. I didn't have time to do gaga goo goo.
Right.
I'm like, girl, come on.
Listen, we got some of the go, got some of the V.
We late.
Right.
We late. I don't got the gaga goo goo in me.
Right.
But you know, I think that kids have the capacity to learn whatever it is that you want them to learn. My nephew is in a school where he learns Spanish.
Yes.
So he knows he knows his ABCs in English and Spanish. He knows his numbers in English and Spanish. I was at his house yesterday and he was counting, or Sunday, he was counting by 10s in Spanish.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm like...
And it's amazing. Their brains are like... It's like you're really molding their brains. They're like soaking it. If you go take them to Paris, London, they're soaking this stuff in. Like, that's why when you have an accent, you pick that up from early age. You know, you can go to a different location and be like, oh, you have such a different accent, or you say this word totally different. They pick this up at such an early age. It said that by the age of 3, kids understand money. And by the age of 7, they're set in their money. They're already set in their spending habits by 7 years old.
What about 15? I got a 15-year-old, and I think she thinks she can money grow on trees. That
probably been since 7 years old. She thought it money grew on trees. So at 7, was you spoiling her?
So do you think I can wheel her back in?
You definitely can.
Okay.
You definitely can. I wheeled
Right.
myself in 1920, so it ain't. Yeah.
Okay.
But you do want to kind of stress the importance of like wants versus priority. Teach them money management. Teach them the value of $1. Like actually let them have an X amount of money. Don't get them allowances. Just give them make them earn it, basically.
Yeah,
like,
that's something I need to get better about, because honestly with my daughter, I feel like sometimes because I am a single mom,
right,
I kind of overcompensate
right,
in certain areas. You know what I mean? And so that's something that that's something in my personal development that I feel like I need to work on, is like showing her the value of $1.
Right.
Instead of just being like she'll hit me up on the weekend, like, Mom, can you send me $30?
Right.
And I'm like, girl,
right.
$30.
Put a task with it. Put a task. Okay, I'll send you this $30, but when you get home tomorrow, I'm gonna need you to make sure you put that laundry in the washer, or put a task with it. Okay. Or before you make sure you go in the fridge. If it's anything that needs to be taken out, just throw it away. And kind of just start like saying yes, because I know, if we got it, we don't want our kids to be without, naturally.
Sure.
But also say yes with kind of like kind of make it where it's an
action item. So attach an action
attach
item with that
something
yes.
Attach something with your yeses. Because,
Okay.
we especially the girls. I have a daughter, so I know the girls, they just get their way. But we do want to teach them, yeses don't come that easily in real life.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take your advice and I'm going to follow up on that. So this is week 1. So we're going to have week 2
okay,
where we continue talking, because you have another product that I think is so great, which are your cards, your flashcards.
Yes.
So in week 2, we're going to talk about that.
Perfect.
Okay. So we are not done. We are going to come back next week. And in next week's episode, we are going to talk about the flashcards that she has as well.
Yes.
Because
it's actually a bingo game.
It's a bingo game.
So I have bingo game and worksheet. So
it's a bingo game and worksheet. We're going to come back again to part 2, where we're going to talk about the bingo game and the worksheets. But in the meantime, can you let the audience know where they can find your book?
Yes.
And in the price point and everything like that.
Yes. So you can find the books on Amazon if you type in ABC's Financial Literacy, and then the author will be Nakala Harris, which is me. You can also go on the website at www.learningabcs.org. Also input the code SFSM for 10% off, to let them know where you came from the podcast, because we want to make sure we get you extra discounts. The books are on sale right now, so definitely run over there right now. I believe the reading book is on sale for $10.99 and the coloring book is $8.99. So definitely take advantage of that. And then I have worksheets and many more educational items. And then if you want to just keep up with us on Instagram, it's abc.financialliteracy.
So please go and follow Nakala. Please go patronize her on Amazon. What she's doing is amazing, which is teaching our younger generation the value of $1, teaching them what it means, getting the coloring book for them so that they learn all of these principles about money management, which is so important. Please follow her on Instagram as well. If you have a young child that you want to teach about money, I'm actually going to go to the website and I'm going to purchase one of each for my nephew.
Perfect.
Because like I said, my nephew's 5.
Right.
And he soaks up everything.
Right.
So
both of them will be good.
Yes. So I want to purchase both of them. So I'm purchasing one of each of the books from the 6-Figure Single Mom Company, just because I believe so much in money management. And I'm sure it won't be my last time purchasing something from
That's
Nakala.
right.
Because like I said, I just love it. And as we transition into going into the new year, it's the 4th quarter. So it's very important for us to learn in these financial series about money management. We have got to get better about spending our money, where we spend our money, how we spend our money. Don't tell me you don't got $10.99, $8.99 to spend on a book that's going to teach your children how to manage their money so that they don't make the same mistakes that that people that we've made or people before us have made. So go and patronize her book. And like she said, if you use the code SFSM, then you can save on your book purchase as well. So please utilize the code. Everything's going to be down in the description box below so that you can have your savings. So listen, like I said, this is week 1. We're going to come back with week 2 so that Nakala can explain how her bingo game works and so that we can continue the conversation on money management. Again, thank you, Nakala, for joining us.
Thank you so much. I love
it. And I am Crystal Smith, also known as the Six Figure Single Mom, and I am checking out until next week. Bye.
Bye.